Napoleon wore a bicorn hat on the battlefield. He is said to have worn a two-cornered hat so that his men could recognize him from a distance while fighting on the battlefield. Napoleon's subordinates were relieved to see that their commander was with them, and they fought with determination to win the war at the risk of their lives.
It is said that there are about 90 of these two-cornered hats around the world. Most of them are in museums, and about 7 are said to be owned by civilians. One of them is in Korea. The bicorn hat was put up for auction in Paris, France. This hat is said to have been purchased at auction for $2 million.
It is said that Mr. Kim, the founder of Harim Chicken in Korea, won the bid. He said that he bought it because he wanted to connect Napoleon's icon of challenge, spirit, and confidence that nothing is impossible with his company's entrepreneurial spirit.
Short people tend to be more aggressive and dominate others in order to compensate for their height. We call this the Napoleon complex. Napoleon's height was 168 centimeters. In fact, Napoleon's complex came from the province of Corsica. He was from an island that was rural, even among the provinces. A year before Napoleon was born, Corsica was sold to France.
Hi, Tony. Which country originally owned the island of Corsica?
It was originally part of the Italian Duchy of Genoa, but it is said that the inhabitants were so wild that it was too difficult to manage Corsica. So Napoleon almost became Italian, but then became French. When Napoleon was 10 years old, he went to France to study.
Napoleon must have been teased a lot by kids growing up in France because of his Corsican dialect. Am I right, Tony?
Yes, while studying in France, young Napoleon was bullied, and the word he heard most often was being called Corsican country boy. First of all, Napoleon used French, but when he spoke with a lot of Corsican dialects and local accent, it was considered to have too much countryside flavor. So it is said that he was harassed and bullied by students consistently. By the way, Napoleon endured with persistence until the end. So Napoleon endured well until the end, graduated and entered the military academy, right?
Yes, Tony. Napoleon entered the military academy in Paris, France. When Napoleon started school, his father died of stomach cancer, so he could no longer provide financial support at home. So Napoleon solved this economic problem by attending the 4-year military academy period, shortening it with summer classes, and graduating quickly. The 4-year period was shortened to 1 year to graduate. He graduated in 42nd place out of 58 students at the Royal Military Academy in Paris. Since he had student graduated in 1 year when others took a period of 4 years, 42nd out of 58 students reflects excellent results. Napoleon's best subjects while attending the military academy were mathematics and history. Usually, if you do well in math, you will be commissioned into the artillery division. To shoot artillery, you need to set the coordinates, so mathematical skills are required. Napoleon was 16 when he graduated. He graduated from the military academy at the age of 16 and was commissioned as an artillery officer and second lieutenant. Compared to today's young people, they were the age of first and second year high school students.
Is it true that Napoleon later made numerous military achievements as an artillery officer?
Yes, Tony. Napoleon was nicknamed the artillery magician, and it is said that he regularly achieved brilliant success in battle.
Can you tell me what was the second rule Napoleon succeeded in?
Yes, Tony, the second rule of success that can be seen in Napoleon is that he developed his insight through reading and contemplation. There is an anecdote that Napoleon loved reading so much that even when riding a horse, he used to read books on horseback. It is said that even when he went to the battlefield, he carried a cart full of books. He only had 3 hours of sleep a day, but he read a lot of books in the remaining time. He contemplated a lot about the contents of the book while taking a walk after finishing reading. He developed his insight by reviewing the contents of his reading and absorbing them into his own thinking. Insight is the ability to see the key points and essence of a problem. It is said that the books that Napoleon read the most were history books such as Hannibal and Alexander. These days, computers can be developed and simulated, but in the past, the job of a soldier was a job without simulation or rehearsal. The simulation was not possible in the past, so he developed insight and improved operational capabilities through history books, accumulating past experience and wisdom. Hannibal reminds me of the Punic Wars. Hannibal was the first general to climb the Alps with an army and elephants. Alexander conquered Persia and advanced as far as the Indus River in India. However, before advancing to the Indus River, the place Alexander must have conquered and occupied was Egypt. Alexander first conquered Egypt and then Persia.
Can you tell me why Alexander conquered Egypt before advancing into Persia?
Yes, Tony. Egypt was a land rich in goods boosted by agriculture because of the Nile River. If you want to fight for a long time, supplying combat rations is the most important thing. If Egypt was conquered, it was possible to secure enough supplies, so one had to gain those supplies in order to conquer faraway countries. It is said that Napoleon realized the important nature of supply through history books. Napoleon campaigned in Italy, but there were Austrian troops in northern Italy. The Austrian army, which opposed the French Revolution, crossed over the Alps and was subdued first. Napoleon made an expedition to Egypt. Among the countries that feared the French Revolution the most were Austria and France's rival, Britain. Britain, an island country, was economically helping countries opposed to France. Napoleon had insight into where Britain's wealth really came from. Napoleon realized that Britain's wealth came from its colony, India. Napoleon realized that trade between India and England came through Egypt's Suez Canal. So Napoleon launched an expedition to Egypt, but it failed. However, through reading history books, Napoleon developed insight and had great qualities as a leader.
Can you tell me the third rule by which Napoleon was successful?
Yes, Tony. The third quality of a successful leader is to be generous with others. It is said that generosity is the most important quality to get a good person on your side. It is said that Napoleon, who was an icon of short men, had a very generous heart. A representative anecdote is that one day a soldier stood guard at night, and although the sentry should not sleep, he was so tired that he fell asleep with his rifle next to him. Instead of waking up the soldier and scolding him, Napoleon took the sentry's rifle and stood guard all night instead. We can say that he was a really cool commander. The soldier asked the commander to punish him later, but Napoleon said it was okay and that everyone can make a mistake once. Napoleon transformed his disorderly troops into elite troops in a short period of time. This transformation is exactly where the leader's generosity helped greatly. It is sometimes said that the generosity we show in small, insignificant ways can change someone's life forever. This generosity unified Napoleon and his soldiers. His soldiers were not the king's standing army, but the people's soldiers and troops. Napoleon emerged as a national hero during the French Revolution and finally ascended to the throne as emperor. Emperors before Napoleon held the coronation ceremony in the name of God, and the Pope crowned the emperor. Napoleon did a self-coronation by putting a crown on his head himself. This move signified that Napoleon became emperor through his own power, even though he was a commoner, not through the power of God or religion. The rules of successful leadership learned from Napoleon's life so far are: first, overcoming complexes; second, developing insight through reading and contemplation; and third, being generous to others. In this way, Napoleon became a successful leader in world history. Thank you for watching the video, Leadership and Success, Napoleon, provided by History and Current Events. I'm Bella, Gina, Mia, and Tony have contributed so far as narrators. Thank you.